Welcome to Module 5. In this module, you will learn about traffic stops, collisions, and DUI, or driving under the influence. Traffic stops. Anytime you hear sirens or see flashing lights on a vehicle moving towards you, you should slow down, activate your right turn signal, and move to the right side of the road to allow them to pass you. If the officer follows your car specifically, you can assume that the officer has initiated a traffic stop. A traffic stop can indicate the driver has committed a minor traffic violation, or there may be a problem with the vehicle that the driver may be unaware of. If this is the case, make sure that your right turn signal is still active. Then turn on your hazard lights to let the officer know that you are looking for a safe place to stop the car completely. When you find a place, pull over and stop your car. Once you have found a safe place to stop, you should park your car and roll down your window. If your car has an interior light, such as a dome light, turn the light on. Then turn the car off and put the keys or the fob on the dashboard. This shows the officer that you have no intention of driving away. Make sure that the radio is off and that you have concluded any phone calls. This will eliminate all distractions for the police officer and show that you are ready to listen and respect the officer's role as law enforcement. If you cannot find a safe location to immediately pull over due to a lack of a shoulder, parked cars, construction work, or other obstructions, drive slowly until a safe location is available. Remember that the officer expects you to pull over as soon as it is safe to do so. Once you have turned the car off, keep your hands on the steering wheel. Do not reach for your license, registration, or anything else in the car until asked to do so by the officer. Having your hands visible at all times eliminates the risk of the officer mistaking your intent for reaching for a weapon or attempting to hide illegal items, which would escalate the situation. If you have passengers, ask them to keep their hands visible as well. Be aware that if you are stopped at night or in other dark conditions, the officer will shine their car's spotlight towards your car so that they can see inside your vehicle for their protection. If you have a licensed weapon in the car, make sure that your hands are on the steering wheel. Let the officer know that you have a license to carry a firearm and the location of the weapon. Do not move your hands off the steering wheel until you are instructed to do so. Do not step out of the vehicle unless the officer instructs you to do so. Getting out of the vehicle without permission will be perceived as an aggressive threat to the officer's safety. Traffic collisions. After a collision, all drivers involved should do the following. Activate your hazard lights. Turn on your right turn signal and move your vehicle to the shoulder or side of the road. You want to be as far away from the flow of traffic as possible. If you are unable to move the car off the road, you should place reflective triangles at least 100 feet behind your car to warn oncoming drivers that there is something ahead and may require them to change how they are driving. Make sure everyone in your car is uninjured. If anyone is injured, contact the police immediately by dialing 911 and wait for help. It is a felony offense to leave the site of an accident when injuries have been sustained. If you are not injured, you should check to see if anyone in any of the other involved vehicles is injured. If there are no injuries, exchange the following information with the other driver: name, address, phone number, insurance company, insurance policy number, driver's license number, and license plate number. Take pictures of all info with your phone if you can. Get the names and phone numbers of any witnesses as well. You should also document the scene by taking pictures of all damage to both cars. If all drivers agree that they do not need police involvement, be sure to obtain proof that everyone has agreed to move on. Be aware that many towns and cities require a report if a crash occurs within their limits, regardless of injury. You will need to find out if the city or town that you are in requires one and file it if necessary.
When police arrive, they will create a report that lists each driver's name, address, insurance carrier, insurance policy number, driver's license number, and the make, model, and vehicle identification number of each vehicle involved in the crash. Do not discuss the accident with anyone other than the police, your employer, or your employer's insurance agent. After a collision or fender bender occurs, it is essential for a taxi company's management to determine whether to submit an insurance claim or pay for the repairs on their own. Insurance companies expect claims to be submitted promptly, and every taxi company needs to meet their expectations. Report all incidents promptly to your supervisor so that the claim can be submitted to your employer's insurance carrier on a timely basis. In most cases, accidents will simply be fender benders that represent an inconvenience for you, the other driver, your passenger, and your employer. On rare occasions, tragedies, including serious injuries and fatalities, do occur. In these exceptional cases, additional steps are necessary. In the aftermath of a serious motor vehicle crash or a crash in which a pedestrian or bicyclist is injured in a collision involving your vehicle, stop immediately and don't move your vehicle. Moving your vehicle before the police arrive could jeopardize their investigation and make their work more difficult. Do not respond to any reporters who arrive at the scene and simply say no comment if they persist with questions.
If you are in a collision with a parked car or other property that results in damage to the parked car or other property and cannot locate the owner, park your car in a safe area, then you must do the following. Write down your name, address, phone number, and license plate number and place it on the vehicle or affix it to the damaged property. Take photographs of all important information as well as any damage done to the vehicles. Regardless of fault, a crash report must be filed by the driver of a vehicle if the crash involves death, bodily injury, or property damage of more than $1,500. If any vehicle involved in the crash is uninsured, a report must be filed for $500 or more. You must file a report with the Illinois Department of Transportation. The form may be obtained from a police officer or an automobile insurance agency and must be submitted no later than 10 days after the collision. DUI. Alcohol is the #1 killer on American roadways. Alcohol affects your vision, slows your reaction time, and alters your hand-eye coordination, so it takes longer for you to react in an emergency. Alcohol affects your driving, even if you are within the legal limits of intoxication. Drinking even a small amount of alcohol increases your chance of causing a crash. It's a myth that food, coffee, or cold showers help you sober up. Allowing the alcohol time to clear your system is the only way to remove the effects of alcohol. Paying for a taxicab or rideshare will cost you far less than the fines, court costs, lawyer fees, and other associated costs a driver faces after being charged with DUI. Beyond the financial burden, the risk of loss of your life or someone else's life is too great. Stay safe on the roads. Don't drink and drive. By driving on U.S. roadways, you have automatically consented to submit to certain tests should the circumstances call for them. The chemical tests may be performed on your blood, breath, or urine. These tests can determine if you are under the influence of alcohol or drugs. If you have been drinking, the tests will determine your blood alcohol concentration, or BAC. BAC, or blood alcohol content, is the measurement of the amount of alcohol in your bloodstream. It measures the weight in grams of ethanol in 100 milliliters of blood, or 210 liters of breath. If your BAC is 0.08 or more, it's illegal for you to drive anywhere in the United States. Even if your BAC is less than 0.08%, you can still be convicted of driving under the influence, DUI, if you are found to be impaired by the alcohol when officers administer a field sobriety test, such as your ability to walk a straight line. It is also illegal to operate a motor vehicle on Illinois roadways with any trace of a controlled drug, substance, or intoxicating compound in your blood. Although Illinois has legalized cannabis, or popularly known as marijuana, for medical purposes, it is illegal to operate a motor vehicle on Illinois roadways with a cannabis tetrahydrocannabinol concentration, THC, of either 5 nanograms or more per milliliter of whole blood or 10 nanograms or more per milliliter of other bodily substance. The following consequences are called the Statutory Summary Suspension Revocation Law, and they apply following any traffic stops regardless of a conviction in court. First offense. If you are arrested for driving with a BAC of 0.08% or more and or any impairing drug in your system, your license will be suspended for 6 months. First offense refusal of test. If you refuse to submit to testing and it is your first DUI offense, your license will be suspended for 1 year. Second offense in 5-year period. If you are a second offender within a 5-year period, your license will be suspended for 1 year if you fail a BAC test, or 3 years if you refuse to test. A test refusal may be used as evidence against you in a DUI court case. First offense refusal of test after a collision resulting in serious injury or death. If you refuse to submit to chemical testing after being involved in a crash in which serious personal injury or death was involved, your driving privileges will be revoked for a minimum of 1 year. All penalties listed apply to drivers over the age of 21. If a driver under the age of 21 is found to have a BAC above 0.00%, the penalties are much harsher. For more information about penalties for underage drinking and driving, read the 2019 Illinois DUI Fact Book by clicking the plus button. In addition to statutory summary suspension revocation after a DUI traffic stop, you may then go on to be convicted in court of driving under the influence of alcohol, other drugs, and/or intoxicating compounds. DUI convictions result in the following revocations of driving privileges. A first conviction results in a minimum 1-year revocation. A second conviction within 20 years of the first results in a minimum 5-year revocation. A third conviction results in a minimum 10-year revocation. A fourth and subsequent conviction results in a lifetime revocation. A DUI conviction also subjects you to carrying financial responsibility insurance, known as Form SR-22, for 3 years. You may click the plus button to view more information about SR-22. This is high-risk insurance and costs $2,000 per year, according to the Illinois Secretary of State. Before your driving privileges are restored, you must undergo an alcohol or drug evaluation and successfully complete a rehabilitation or alcohol or drug education program, pay a reinstatement fee, and/or meet other requirements, including waiting for a minimum of 1 year. That would be all for Module 5. Quiz optional. Test your understanding by clicking and answering the questions below. Module 5 complete. Please click on Mark as Completed button to finalize and proceed to Module 6 by clicking Next Lesson.